The following program contains language, images, and/or subject matter that may be objectionable to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Direct from Albany, New York, it's time for the News Media Zone. With your hosts, Ed and Dave. Tonight, a look at this week's new film and DVD releases. And a chance to win free movie tickets with the poster pair game. And now your hosts, Ed and Dave.
Hello, and welcome to the new Media Zone. Ed and Dave here, Ed and Dave with you, with part 2 of the Wild and Wacky Work Story show.
And COVID-free.
We're COVID-free, as we learned.
One line means clear.
Right. The test you get, was it the one line is clear?
I don't know. I've never opened it.
You never opened it?
I don't need to use it.
Did you take a test before this one today?
No.
No.
It's the first one I've ever done.
And you haven't gotten COVID yet, neither
That I'm aware of.
But you're out there a lot
Maybe
more.
I had it and was asymptomatic.
It could be, yeah.
Don't know.
But you're up to date on you. I have to get that second booster
Yep.
because it's dangerous out there.
Oh.
But in the good old days, we're going back in time to our state employment, New York State, and we've told you a lot of wacky stories so far. But even with all those wacky stories, I'm only in the middle of my number 8 on my countdown here. And as I've been telling, you've been thinking of more stories, and I'm probably, once I go through these, I'm going to hit a few more. So whatever it is, if it's 2 episodes, if it's 3, these are wacky work stories, and you're going to want to listen to them.
I just want to put out the disclaimer.
Okay.
Also,
Yes, we should at the
that
beginning.
as much as we may mock other people, and I cannot speak for you, Ed.
Which was a staple of
Right.
employment.
I will not speak for you. I only speak for myself.
Uh-huh.
I just want it to be known that I was as much a jerk and an idiot as some of these other people were. Just putting it out there. I'm going to make fun of people, but boy, was I a chauvinistic pig. Back in the 1980s. Not anything I would do now.
No.
Yeah, most of it I wouldn't do now. But I'm just saying, bear that in mind as you say to yourself, I cannot believe they're making fun of this person. I cannot believe they're making fun. I was just as bad. I was not a nice person. I was a jerk. There you go.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was quiet and just observing most of these things, although I did contribute, as I said last time, I did contribute the line, hey babe, I got a 12-inch penis, that somebody put on a sign.
Right.
I did have my moments there. But here we are. Just a brief recap. I started in 87 at the Department of Labor. You were 84 in motor vehicles.
Correct.
And here we are. There's no timeline here, but I told most of my economic development stories, which I was only in there 4 years, and then I was canned. Usually when these Cuomos were in there was a lot of canning, and we're going to fire people and take their money away. I think our money was cut from both Cuomos, wasn't it?
Yes, the Cuomos were not friends of the state workers. Anytime there was a massive budget deficit, it was either a string of layoffs or a lag payroll or taking away certain benefits or increasing the costs of certain benefits. So there was always an issue there. There was multiple lag payrolls. Multiple.
So I was laid off and picked up by labor, and that's where I am with my Joan and Sheila and Frickin' Frack story. These were hourlies who were normally brought in by somebody that knew them.
Yes.
A lot of family members, but they couldn't work directly with them, so they were in that next unit.
Yeah.
But they were all family members. So we had 2 hourlies that were dumb as rocks, and we had 2 supervisors that were equally as dumb as rocks. So this is comparing both of them. We had Joan, who was putting the Social Security numbers in the wrong files. Now Sheila, I had to train this one. And with the Social Security, whatever, there's
Yeah.
3 numbers, 2 numbers. I had to train her on the sorts. And it's fairly simple. The first 2 numbers, 08, 07, you put the 01s in this pile. You put the 02s in this pile. There was a certain layout, and you went through the files and you put them on your table. I could not relay this concept to this woman. The first 2 are 07, they go here. She did not understand how to sort these papers out. I'm pretty good at details and describing things. I could not get it through to her. Now, she went out and got a Christmas present for one of the supervisors.
Oh, that's nice.
It's nice, but it was September. She got this one supervisor a Christmas present, and then she gave her also a list of the things she liked at Macy's with a map.
Well, she's on a registry, maybe.
Where are the things where she wanted? The audacity of doing something like this. And then one poor woman was having a child at the time.
Oh, that's nice.
And so she was down in the hospital, and all of a sudden Sheila shows up at the hospital.
Oh, a friend to help with her, with any troubles she may be having.
So she was in the bathroom at the time when Sheila wandered in, and she never came out of the bathroom.
Because she knew Sheila was there?
Yes. The husband said, Sheila's here, and she never came out. She knew she was as nutty as a jaybird. And you don't show up for somebody you don't really know, and all of a sudden this woman is here with a gift. A lovely thought, but was not a friend, not a work friend, really.
Along those lines,
Uh-huh.
of saying you don't show up for people you don't really know, there was this fella who worked in my office, a nice enough guy. Didn't know him all that well or for all that long. And there was this guy and 3 other people, maybe one of them. We would hang out, go to lunch together. We ended up, all 3 of us, being in his wedding.
Oh.
But we didn't really know him that well.
Yeah, that's that wedding thing where I said in the last show that I'm not inviting anybody from here.
But we were in the wedding.
In the party.
We were the ushers.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
Another guy who was a part of our group said, "No, I'm not going to be in it." Mm-hmm. He took the attitude of, "I don't know you that well to be in the wedding," and the 3 of us said, "Well, we also don't know you that well to be in the wedding, but if you're asking us, you are hard up, so we'll do it."
Oh, jeez.
And his wife hated us.
Oh.
Just did not like us at all.
Why? Because you were a fine gentleman. You were
No,
showing up for the wedding, or maybe you didn't.
We were still, as I said at the beginning of the show, we were jerks.
Mm-hmm.
We were just chauvinistic pig jerks. But we figured he needed people. That's why he's asking us, so we did it. But we didn't want to do it.
Yeah, it was always jarring when you would see people from work out in the real world.
Yes.
Like at the...
I would hide.
I would hide a lot and sneak around aisles.
I once was at a local fair, I think. One of the, county fairs.
Uh-huh.
And I saw a coworker, and I don't know who I was with at the time, but whoever I was with, I said, "Let's go this way." Why? I go, I went, "Linda's over there." I go, "No, I don't want to see her. I work with her." And I would go the other way. I don't want to see these people outside of work.
Yeah, you'd usually hide. And one time I couldn't hide was Frick and Frack from the story, The 2 Supervisors. Mm-hmm. These were more people who like to go out for happy hour.
I can understand that.
After work on a Friday, and we would go out to a bar on Friday. We would blow off our steam, go into Crossgates and go shopping. Oh. And this is my wife, not my coworker.
Right.
So all of a sudden I see these Frick and Frack, this Terry and Diane, stumbling out of the saloon, whatever saloon was in the mall at the time.
Saloon. It's 1873.
What was the Bennigan's? Was that in there? Might have been one of these at the time. Bombed out of their minds. And there they were. And the other frickin' frack story, there's two piles of work that's not getting done, and these two are coming around with a yardstick. They're going to rearrange the office. So they have a yardstick, and they're making sure the desks are perfectly lined up to the inch with the yardsticks. That was high priority on their list.
Now, also as an aside to your story about not hanging out with people you work with,
Yeah.
I will say this: I hung out with a lot of people I worked with. Because when I was hired, I was 22, just 22, and there was a whole slew of us that were hired at the same time that were all of that same age, in between, say, the ages of 20 to 25. So we kind of all got together and hung out together and went out to the bars on Friday nights together, and things happened. But that was that 2-3 years of immature crazy activity when you first get together with a group of the same age, because there was a lot of elderly folk that worked there too.
Yeah.
And to see people your own age starting at the same time, you tend to hang out together a lot. Plus, there was a couple of them that were really hot.
Yeah, I seem to, because there was more female, I used to hang around with the females more than any males. Of course, that it didn't help that my first day, the guy that was starting with me crashed into my car. Wasn't really thrilled with hanging around with him for too long. So let's say that was number 8. Number 9 I got, or number 7 here.
Yep.
The OC files are okay. This is where I wound up in the Labor Department, the OC files. Mm-hmm. And thanks to my video I made, The Last Day, the award-winning film, I do have some video of these files, which I'll insert here for these file stories. And this, I actually learned about this at Economic Development. There was 55Bs and 55Cs.
Yes.
And this is something we learned, it's kind of was hidden, but we had a 55C, which I believe was the military category.
That might be. I know what the 55B is.
That's
because we had more of those
issues, mental issues.
Yeah, there were certain
requirements.
There were certain parameters, or I don't know how you would explain it, but they had certain, whether they were physical maladies of some sort, and were limited in what they could do as far as other jobs. So they made provisions for these types of people to get jobs within New York State, whether it was sitting at a desk and something that wouldn't require a lot of physical demand, and they could either file or do certain things.
I remember I was just floored that I heard they were being characterized by number and letters.
Yeah, they were.
B.
Yeah, and there's a certain stigma to that too.
Yeah.
There were people that I worked or didn't work with, but I knew them fairly well, and found out at some point someone said, "Oh, yeah, so she's a 55B." I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, I didn't know that, and because you hear a lot of people describe them as some kind of hideous monster, and then you meet them and you talk to them, and you have no clue that they have any type of issue. So there was a certain negative connotation to it, which I found horribly unfair as I matured, which took some time.
Yeah, we had a 55B in the files, which was clearly illustrated as a 55B. He had the Mo haircut, and it wasn't as thick as Mo's. It was kind of grayish. He wore green short shorts, the kind of silky short shorts.
We had a guy like that.
And something happened in the files where there was some issue going on, and he was called up by the supervisor, and we're doing our sorting there. And all of a sudden, it got very loud, and he goes, "I hate you all!" And he runs out of the room. And I just like stiffened up, like, what the hell is going on?
You got excited?
No, I was like in shock, what?
You said stiffened, I didn't.
Yes, no, I'm just, frozen is a better word, I think.
Okay. Shocked.
Yeah, he went running out of the room. And then another one of these hourly situations, somebody brought their young 18-year-old nephew in or something, as a part-time hourly, and apparently Jim was a little interested in him and was following him around the office and into the break room, and all of a sudden the guy left. He found another job somewhere, so that's the things. A lot of people were moved around when there was trouble or issues at the time. Now, you know, it's on the 6 o'clock news, if anybody...
Yeah, we did have a handful of love stories from where I was, because of the mixture, like I said, of the young people that came in at a lot at the same time. But that's as far as I'll go with it. What else you got going, Ed?
I just have to move...
Trying to organize?
My numbers got out of whack when I was sorting.
Well, I can go into a few quick stories, like related to fashion.
Okay.
That we would have. With us, on occasion, people would come. You know, people wore some bizarre clothes. We
like
had this,
the green shorts?
Yeah, I like the green short. We had a guy that was always wearing shorts. Always wore shorts in the summertime. No, you know, because he was a sports kind of guy. Always wore shorts, and in the winter he wore sweatpants all the time. But we have this one woman who was fond of her leopard print pants, and upon...
Were these way too tight? Because we had a few.
They were very tight, and she was not small.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember at one point, as she was walking by my desk, I just glanced at her and, you know, said hi, and then noticed them. And then she walked by. I thought there was something odd. And when she came back the second time, I noticed again, there was a big tear from the waist to like this far down, and she held it together with a clothespin up top. Oh, no. So you had the tear about this long, one clothespin up top, which left the opening like this wide. You had this big opening like this on each side.
Oh.
And one clothespin. If one of those clothespins didn't hold or it tore, the
mystery's over.
There was a show going on. And then at one point we had an individual come in, sit down, get up, walk around, and someone looked at her and said, what are you wearing? And she says, what do you mean? I'm wearing a dress. She had a slip on and forgot to put the dress on.
Oh, God.
Came to work just wearing the slip
Oh.
and ran out of there.
Oh, gee.
To go get dressed.
I think I would have nightmares about that, where I'd be at work in my underwear, but I never actually did it.
Yeah, hey, you did it. And then we had this one older woman who at some point got into the polyester outfits. A yellow one.
This was after the 70s, though, right?
Oh, yeah. A yellow one, a purple one, a blue one, and a green one. Matching. Everything was one color. It was the top, the skirt, and like a little vest over it. All one solid color. Shoes even matched. So it got to the point where we had noticed this, and we would run a pool. Today's going to be yellow day, is what I say. People would have this pool going, and, you know, there were winners, there were losers. But, yeah.
Everybody lost, though.
Everybody lost. And she had the big beehive hairdo, too.
Wow.
Yeah. But,
stuck in the 70s with their 4 outfits.
Yeah, you know, I got to say something, man. I've been retired, we're going to be going 2.5 years now, and I have not bought one piece of clothing since I left. I've got enough. I've been wearing this shirt for 15 years. All my shirts in there. They're all old. So you can't talk fashion to me because I don't buy clothes anymore. It's just it.
Well, I did buy clothes after I retired because I had to wear light shirts then, but the button shirts very light because it was so hot in there.
Yeah.
So after I retired, I went out and got about 20 of these black V-neck shirts. Yeah. It's like the Fonz in my closet. All they are, I don't have to think about choosing a shirt. I grabbed the black T-shirt and that's it.
To go to work?
No, now.
Oh, just now.
Yeah,
I was going to say, because if you did that at work, people would say, Jesus, Ed, don't you wear any... He's wearing the same clothes every day.
I probably would have worn these at work, except I needed the pocket to put my eye drops and all my drugs that when I left the desk. I might have put eye drops in once since I retired the past 4 years. I put them in 3 times a day in this place.
Oh,
it was so
very dry, yeah.
So we had this Kathy working in there.
Uh-huh.
And she was a good-looking woman.
Uh-huh.
She drove people nuts, though, so she sat behind me. So often I try and put my headphones on to try and drown out the madness that's going on. So she would usually tap me on the shoulder if she needed something. So one time I was annoyed that she finally did it, and she goes, she wanted a certs. Do you have a certs? And then I had one in my mouth, and I opened it with my teeth in there, and I showed her the certs. So she said, don't move. And she came up, and I'm there with the certs, in my teeth. I did, and she comes up and takes the certs out of my mouth with her mouth, right in the middle of the workplace. So
you said she was attractive?
She was attractive.
That's a hint right there, Ed. That's a hint.
That's a hint you would have taken advantage
Move
of.
on that.
Yeah, except I was planning on getting married at the time.
All the more.
All the more reason. So, and then later on, I probably would not have done the search stunt when this started, but she started being interested in whether people swallowed or not. So she would say, yeah, Marlene, she probably swallows. This was a time when things like this could be said out loud at workplace. Now there would be all kinds of meetings and things, people offended. But she was always wondering if the women swallowed or not.
I don't recall that conversation coming. I'm sure it did, but I don't recall that conversation coming up. The only thing I had, now when you started, there was no smoking in the offices, right?
No, I just missed it, although because we were in the warehouse type situation, people were smoking, but it had been banned.
See, when I started, there was a lot of smoking, and I sat right in front of a woman, non-stop. Always had one going. Whether she smoked it or not, one had to be lit. I come home from work with my clothes reeking, and I do recall this. I recall after a few months saying to myself, I'm not going to live very long. I'm going to be dead from all this smoke. And then shortly thereafter, it was banned. But I do recall so much. You would walk in there and there would just be this level of smoke. You could just see up in the top section by the ceiling. I'm like, holy crap, this can't be healthy.
I can't even imagine that, as bad as the air was in the place with smoke.
Oh, you would have died. Literally died. Yeah, you would have had to have said, I can't work here, I gotta go. And I considered moving to a different office, but then I would think it's just the same.
Did they ever move people if people had trouble? I can't take this, or
not that I
They
recall.
couldn't tell them to stop at this point. Don't smoke in the office.
I don't. Obviously, it didn't happen because there were so many people smoking in there. Yeah, it was brutal. Thank God. They changed that.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't completely banned in the building. At one time downstairs there was a smoking room.
Like high school, our smoking area?
Yeah, but this was in the building. I don't know if this was just before that happened, but later on that would become the health room. It was probably littered with decades of smoke in there, but they were doing exercising in there. One more. This is still with the other in the LC file section. We had some smelly people in the offices.
You just triggered something.
Triggered some memories?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I got two smelly people. One was Mary Ann, and she was a supervisor. And she would often reek of urine and cat smell.
Oh, yeah, we had one of those.
Cat person.
Yep, we had one of those.
And I don't know if it was human or cat urine. Who knows? Maybe it was mixed up together. But she was a supervisor, and they would always put them in the back row. And this was right next to a window, which was the unfortunate spot was where the sun would hit in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. So in the afternoon, she would kind of stew in her own juices. From the heat back there, and you did not want to go near her in the afternoon. Oh. And somebody one time, this would be big trouble today, they snuck under her desk after work and put a stick up under it, one of those odorizer things.
We had a woman who was a cat woman, loved cats. At one point I was actually sitting next to her desk, and I thought my vision was, something was going on with my vision. And I'm just like, what the hell? Something's going on. And then I happened to, at one point, I don't know when it was, but it was a while, and I kept thinking something was going on with my eyes. And I happened to glance over her one time, and I saw her reach her arm for something, and like plumes of hair, cat hair go flying and just floating. And I go, that's what I'm seeing. And I'd have a jar of water sitting in front of me, and I had to start covering it up because I didn't want hair getting in there. But someone wrote a poem about her, and I know it well. It has been memorized.
Okay.
And this, I'm going to do it exactly as written.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, it's very short, roses are red, violet are blue. This is exactly how she wrote it. Roses are red, violet are blue, your pants are yellow, it cat piss.
That's an avant-garde poem there.
I laughed my ass off at that one. But we also have this woman. Now, we had these desks, it's, all around. And all around the perimeter were file cabinets. And we would have to file all these paperwork. And our data entry operators, would type up these documents, and then they would give us the original. They would have a copy, and they would put it in the file cabinets. Now, files were right there, right next to our desk. And I was talking to a friend of mine one time, and we're standing by his desk, and this woman is filing, and as we're talking, we hear, and he's got his back to her, and I'm facing him, and I see her, and he just looks at me, and he makes this odd face, and then we hear, and his eyes get huge, and then we hear, the woman is just constantly breaking wind, non-stop, and she doesn't bat an eye. She doesn't go, "Oh, I'm sorry," or leave the area. Just a step over to the next file cabinet. It's just bizarre.
So you're standing up filing?
Yes, standing up, putting in the file cabinets, and then it's like Charlie Callis.
So we had you had to file sometimes lower in the cabinets, and there were stools. That was a lot of fun. People zooming around the files on their little stools.
I think we don't need to do any more of this because you're just triggering. I'm having flashbacks.
Another smelly person was a very big, very nice woman, but very big and probably couldn't bathe properly.
Again, stop! You gotta stop.
So she couldn't get on the stool to file in the lower areas. So she would scoot around in a chair, and it was one of the foam chairs with fabric on it.
Yeah.
And when that chair was put away, when she was done, the odor that came out of the chair, it was embedded in that chair. And also, you had to be careful where you hung up your coat on the coat rack, because the coat smelled to high heaven. A body odor I've never smelled since.
Gotta just drape it on your chair, Ed. There you go. Uh-oh, that's two.
Well, we are at the end of the second of the Wacky Work Story show, and I'm starting off with number 6 on my list. I think we got a 4-parter here. I don't know. We're going to see. But maybe the next part will go faster, but we are on show number 3 next time. Join us then for more Wacky Work Stories.
The New Media Zone has been a Cable 2000 production.